Welcome back to From the Pages of the Wrestler, the January 1980 issue, and this one drops you right into a wrestling world that feels alive the second you open it because it doesn't start with a main event, it starts with conversation. The You Asked Us column sets the tone right away, readers writing in from all over, asking about Dusty Rhodes and his roots at West Texas State, asking what happened with Lord Alfred Hayes stepping away from the ring, wondering if Tony Garea and Larry Zbyszko will ever find their way back together. The answers don't just inform, they carry personality, they carry voice, and they remind you that these magazines weren't just reporting wrestling, they were part of it. From there, the world starts moving. The news hits, and it hits with tension. Captain Lou Albano and the Valiant brothers are no longer on the same page, and you can feel it unraveling. Accusations of interference, threats about contracts, frustration boiling over. This isn't clean. This isn't settled. This is something breaking apart in real time. At the same time, Terry Funk climbs to the top of the most hated rankings and leans all the way into it, owning it, throwing it back at the fans. While across the landscape, Bob Backlund is realizing that every challenger coming at him brings a different kind of danger, and none of it is getting easier. And then the magazine opens up and takes you across the territories, and this is where it really breathes. Florida, where Funk pushes through a tournament and does whatever he needs to do to walk out with the title. Virginia, where Ric Flair teams with Blackjack Mulligan and Jim Brunzell in a match that feels like it could spill out of the ring at any second. Portland, where Stasiak survives through interference and chaos. New Orleans, where Dusty Rhodes and Bill Watts end up in a brutal fight that turns bloody after a chain comes into play. And Toronto, where Dewey Robertson battles through a tournament to take the championship. Each stop feels different, but it all connects. One big system where momentum travels and nothing stays contained for long. The focus tightens after that, and now it's about people. Tommy Rich stands in the middle of a conversation that feels almost unfair, where his success and his appearance become part of the same discussion. There are questions about whether he avoids the kind of fights that leave marks, whether image plays a role in how he wrestles. He pushes back, makes it clear that winning is what matters, but the question doesn't go away, and it just sits there. Part of how he's seen, part of how he has to move forward. Manny Fernandez brings a different kind of weight into the issue. His story doesn't begin in wrestling, it goes back to Vietnam, to missions, to survival, and that doesn't disappear when he steps into the ring. It follows him, shapes how he approaches everything, from early struggles to building momentum to setting his sights on the NWA championship. There's a grounded feeling to it, like everything he's chasing now is built on everything he's already been through. Then the issue slows down and hits its emotional core with Jimmy Snuka and Ricky Steamboat. It begins in a place that feels easy, a cookout, laughter, friendship that makes sense. Two people who genuinely enjoy being around each other. Shared interests, shared time, small moments that build something real. And that's what makes the change hit because it doesn't come out of nowhere, it builds. Influence creeps in, Buddy Rogers, Ken Patera, and slowly something shifts. Steamboat tries to understand it, tries to hold on to what was there, but it's slipping, changing into something else. By the time it turns into conflict, you've already felt what was lost. And that's what stays with you. Right after that, Tor Kamata steps back into the picture, and everything about it feels uncertain. He's been gone, no clear explanation, and now he's back with stories surrounding him that don't settle into anything comfortable. His past hints at instability, and now it feels like that's grown into something darker. His actions in the ring reflected, especially against Mark Lewin, where the intensity goes beyond competition and into something harder to define, something that makes people step back and question what they're watching. Harley Race becomes the center of a different kind of discussion. Not just what he's done, but what it means. Is he the greatest? The magazine doesn't give you a clean answer, it gives you voices. some praising his toughness and his reign, others pointing to things that complicate that picture. Race himself stands in the middle of it, aware of how he's seen, aware of the debate, and that's what makes it feel real. Greatness here isn't settled, it's argued. The Briscoe brothers bring the focus back to identity. Jerry trying to step out from behind Jack, trying to be seen on his own terms, dealing with comparisons that don't go away just because you want them to. It's another layer of what this world demands, not just performance but definition, figuring out who you are when everyone already thinks they know. But then the intensity jumps again with Bob Backlund and the Sheik. A match built on risk from the start, no disqualification, no safety net. Everything people have said about the Sheik shows up in real time. The tactics, the brutality, the control. Backlund gets pulled into that world, forced to fight in a way that doesn't match who he is, just to survive, just to keep the title. And even when it's over, even when he walks away with it, there's something about it that doesn't sit right. Lawler and Dundee close that loop on something personal. A friendship that once meant something, now broken down by ambition, by competition, by everything that comes with trying to be on top. It's not just a feud, it feels like something that collapsed under its own weight. And all the way through, the ads are there, part of the experience. Back issues for sale, bundle deals, mail-in offers, quit smoking tests, teeth whitening products, photo IDs, ways to make money with a camera. It's all part of the texture, part of what made flipping through these pages feel like more than just reading, like you were inside something, connected to it in a way that went beyond the stories. By the time you get to the end, it doesn't feel like you just read a magazine. It feels like you move through a moment, different places, different people, different stories, all happening at once, all connected, all continuing somewhere else. The second you turn the page. See ya next time. Farewell from the Empire State.